All right, guys, it looks like we are live. So, thank you once again for tuning in. This is the Crazy Casual Podcast because we're absolutely crazy and you could probably consider us casual at the same time. But enough being said, the whole reason why you're here is to not hear the exact same banter that always takes place on every show. So, real quick, I am Centurion 1307. If you haven't checked out my channel, I live in my own world because I reject everybody else's reality and substitute my own, and it's a much better reality. And to join me in the insanity, I bring my ever-loving brother Mickey into the party every single Wednesday night. And just to remind everybody, that's the cool part about Mickey is he is more like the disconnected individual from all the drama, toxicity, insanity that takes place on social media. So it's always fun to get his opinions that are really like a smack in the face to people that try to like assume that they speak for the whole breadth of gaming when they complain about stuff like frame rates and this and that in video games when they absolutely have no idea that the vast majority of people that play games don't care. So enough being said,
True.
right. And that's where let's just dive into a game that me and him have played for a very long time. And what I mean by long time, I have been playing this game since 2016. He's been playing it just a smidge longer than me. And he also, this is where we make the joke, he's like the town bicycle of game characters. He makes too many characters in this game. I've stuck with one, and now I'm practically like a level 980 some. And now we're getting ready to get into the next expansion. And of course, we're talking about Elder Scrolls Online. Now, Xbox earlier this year in January decided to have the developer direct where once again, ZeniMax showed off the next expansion for Elder Scrolls Online, which happens to be called the Gold Road. And this is one thing that a lot of people didn't really know. I'm pretty sure you've heard it fly out of my mouth on a couple shows and on my channel that the developer direct was a result of purchasing Bethesda ZeniMax. Xbox never did shows in January. ZeniMax did. ZeniMax has done shows every January for years. Me and Mickey have been watching what is referred to as the Elder Scrolls Online update, the Elder Scrolls expansion update. They have or the Elder Scrolls Developer Direct. They always have it practically at the end of January every single year, and they just kind of like give you the roadmap of what to expect for the game. And this year, there's going to be not only an expansion in the story that like takes place every year, they expand the story, but instead of this year of us getting like a very lackluster card game, I'm sorry, but Mickey, I don't know if you enjoyed that like Tales of Tribute card game, but I didn't play that.
I haven't even played it yet. So.
Dude, it went over like a lead balloon. The community was like, nope, we don't want that. And so for the next expansion, they came out with another character called the Arcanist class. And now this expansion that's taking place this year happens to introduce a new it's like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's a new mechanic where they're going to be able to kind of modify specific skills to customize your character. There's only going to be 11 of them that I just found out a little while ago.
Mm-hmm.
So first, when I heard this, I thought they were going to let us modify all the skills, but apparently it's only 11 specific skills that are going to come out off of the grimoires. And apparently that there's going to be grimoire quest givers and grimoire sellers. So even to me, it sounds like another crafting mechanic. And if you know anything about the crafting in this game, some of the crafting in this game can sometimes be, shall we say, a little grindy. And I say that very respectfully, but I mean, there's certain stuff like, I mean, come on, like there's certain skills that you have to like research out. And when I did like some of the research takes like 30 days. It's insane. And I mean like 30 days of real life, 30 days of real life time. Yep. We're not talking game time. It's like we call it baking. Just set it and forget it and come back in 30 days and you got an extra skill. So let's just dive into it. You obviously were a World of Warcraft aficionado. You put a lot of time in World of Warcraft. As a matter of fact, like, I'm not trying to expose you here, but Mickey's wife and him actually met on, what was it, Ultimate Online?
Ultimate Online, yeah.
Ultimate Online. So you have been around the MMO scene for a very long time. You've played different games, and that's where, you know, tell me, like, you just started getting a lot of the details for Gold Road. What are you excited about on this?
I think the scribing is going to be interesting, and I want to get my hands on it. I don't know. It's one of those things where when I read up on it, you know, I need to get my hands on it to see how it works, how everything kind of comes together. But, you know, it's a new something. So I'm ready to get into that. And, you know, obviously the new dungeons and all the extra stuff that they put in. They didn't do a new class because I think the scribing is kind of, I think, the big punctuation on Gold Road. So they didn't do a new class, but, you know, I'm excited every time the DLCs come out. I'm excited to see what new stuff they put in. I didn't try the card stuff on the last one because I just really haven't paid attention to it and really didn't read up on it to even know that was there until I was reading some information today. So when the DLCs come out, I just like to see what they got. The scribing is going to be the main thing that we'll probably end up focusing on, which I'm sure you're going to probably, you know, be able to dig into it a lot deeper than I will first. So, but that's kind of what I'm looking forward to you know, to see how that will. Because they say that you're supposed to, the scribing is going to help you, you know, create a whole new kind of, you know, setup for your character. So we'll see how that unfolds when we get our hands on that DLC when it comes out.
And just for anybody curious that happens to be watching the gameplay, this is kind of like me giving you just a little bit of a quick tour of just certain things that take place. Like you'll see the houses that you can purchase in this game. That's one thing that we'll discuss too, that I'm kind of curious on what you feel. So let's not fake it. There is a lot of microtransactions in this game. We've had our discussions. We have had our discussions about microtransactions. We understand that, at least for me and my logical sense of thinking, they have a place in the industry. And like, I'm going to, like, you know, with great with great power comes comes responsibility thing. And with microtransactions, as long as you're responsible and very respectful in how you implement them, they have a place. But when you get out of control with them, you can actually, you could actually sour a lot of people on them.
Yeah, and you can turn the fan base, turn them off, basically. Yeah.
Yes, right. And one of the big, like, that's where, I mean, if I could give Elder Scrolls one critique right here, and this is where I warn everybody, if you get into Elder Scrolls Online, on the screen right now, you're going to see crown crates. Stay away from these things if you have, like, impulses to gamble. Because regretfully, these things can get a little out of control with, I have done a little bit of a test where I opened 40 of these crates. Now, the reason why I had 40 of these crates, it probably sounds like I'm a damn whale. I'm not. So with Elder Scrolls Online, you have a subscription that you can purchase. That's like $15 a month. Part of the subscription is they give you 1,750 crowns per month towards your account. So technically the subscription pays for itself because you get, like, pretty much essentially a little bit over $15 in crowns each month. There's some other added bonuses. The main reason to have this subscription is to have access to the crafting bag and extra bank space and stuff like that. So yeah, it makes your life a little easier in the game having access to those features. And it also unlocks all the expansions for you. So if by some chance you want to play this entire game, but you don't want to fork out for the expansions, pay $15 and you'll have access to all the expansions in the game as long as you keep your membership. That
Mhm.
being said, I had stacked up enough crowns over a large period of time because I wasn't spending them. And I thought, what the hell, for everybody's enjoyment, at my expense, I would spend enough crowns where I bought 40 loot boxes. And that's when I found out the drop rate on these crown crates is not what it's not as advertised. It is a shit drop rate. I opened 40 crates, and I did not get one Apex reward. Apex being like the best stuff that you can get, the really cool mounts that have like all the glitz and glitter, the ones that ride by where you're just like, oh my God, look at that. That's so pretty. But that being said, you can definitely make a character all your own. As somebody like you, Mickey, how do you feel about the microtransactions in the game? Do you feel like they're horribly intrusive, or is it just something that you can get into if you just feel compelled to, but it doesn't affect the game at all?
Yeah, I don't think it really does because, I mean, I only pay attention to what I want. So all the other stuff I just ignore. So if there's something I see that I want, like a lot of the DLC stuff, like some of the minor DLC that you can buy with the crowns and stuff, that's usually the main stuff that I want to look into because I want to get, I want to have all the dungeons or whatever. But anything else, unless I see like a cool armor set I want to get, then I'll put it out. But aside from that, I mean, I don't really pay attention to the other stuff, so it's not a big deal to me. So I mean, I think they have a lot of options in their microtransactions, but you don't have to do anything with them. I mean, if you don't want to. So that's what I do is I just ignore what I don't need, and if I see something I like, I get it. So to me, it's not intrusive at all. It's not a big deal. So
At least going back to the expansion, I have yet to beat Necrom. Where are you at on the whole situation?
you haven't beat Necrom? I haven't beat a lot of the DLC yet, so
Dude,
I need to stop making characters is what I need to stop doing.
How long do you feel like if you were to like start this game and have all the expansions at your disposal, how long do you think you would need?
Oh my God. I would need a while, to be honest. I don't know exactly how long, but it would be a while.
See, I'm thinking
I would definitely need a while.
Getting into the base game, because it's on Game Pass, you would probably have like a good, I don't know, what would you say, like almost any between, depending on how you play, you could have like almost like 50 to 75 hours in the main game. But if we did
probably,
the original main quest and all the 3 faction quests, or the the main storyline and the 3 faction storylines, and then
that would probably be about right.
Each expansion probably added like another 20, 30 hours onto the game. And there's been like over 10 expansions. So in my opinion, you would need like hundreds and hundreds of hours.
A lot of hours. And like the way you play, like if you're going not only for, the storyline, but you do, the side quests and, I mean, there's just so much stuff to do that if you're talking about just focusing on the main quest, you're right about, I'd probably say about 50, 60, 70 hours in there. But, if you do like where you're very specific and very, you want to knock this stuff and this stuff out, dude, you can turn that time up even further.
So when Mickey joins me on the game, I have like a full map of the region that we're in on my tablet. And I will literally start going and marching us to all the different dungeons and delves. And if you play this game with me, I will like take you on the grand adventure to go take the ring to Mount Doom and the Fellowship of the Ring. You will definitely go on a grand adventure for sure.
That's true.
But it goes beyond just like stuff you can do. Cause I mean like there's an insane amount of quests, but there's also the events, at the end of every year, starting about the beginning of December. You get the New Life Festival, which is where you celebrate obviously New Year's, but you also get to go through, because there's different cultures in the game, different religions, and it's the developer's way of showing how to celebrate multicultural diversity through how each culture celebrates the coming of the new world. Or in some cultures, they even actually, in a couple regions, they do have like their version of Christmas. But that's where you also have, like right now, they have the Jubilee anniversary, where you essentially go on this quest to go make this cake. And as you do the events, you're given event tickets, and the event tickets allow you to go to the Imperio, and you get to cash them in for stuff that's only available for a select amount of time. There is also just exclusive stuff that you can get your hands on that after it's gone, it's gone. Like, actually, I have a home in the game that is only sold during the end part of the year, and that's because I'm insane if you can't tell, and I wanted my home to be inside a magical little snow globe. How about, do you have a home, Mickey? Do you have like the ones they give you, or do you actually have one of the ones that you can purchase?
Yeah, I've got the one, the big one from, what is it? Oh gosh, I can't remember which
the
DLC.
Quarter?
It's that.
The big, it's that castle.
Yes, that's the one. That's the one. Yes, that's the one. Yeah.
Okay, so you got that big
monster castle.
one.
Yeah. Yes, I do.
I was able to get my hands on that one, and the one they give you for going like on all the archaeology quests when they were doing like the archaeology anniversary, and that's how I ended up with the guild house. And yeah, again, if you guys want to play with us, we have a full guild house, complete with all the crafting stations, even a transmutation station. That's why I say don't get freaked out if this game ever feels overwhelming to you. You guys can always find us, and I can help you craft anything you need, and we can also help you do whatever you got to do in the game. No quest is too big. Now, like, also, like, this is one of the things that's coming on the screen right now. The world events. You have world bosses, but you also have these world events. The original ones are these dark anchors. Mickey here remembers the dark anchors, but the dark anchors are everywhere, at least in the original main game. But in some of the newer expansions, like in Elsewhere, your world events are fighting dragons. They've given glimpses on what the world event is going to look like in the Gold Road expansion, where it's going to be kind of like a cross between a dark anchor and some of the stuff we saw in High Tide, because in High Tide they had these like fountains you had to fight. We also had a High Isle where you had to fight like creatures that came out of volcanoes. So let's just say there's a vast majority of different world events. There's always something to do in this game. Always. And that's why I just wanted to highlight it, because this is technically a game that Microsoft purchased when they got the ZeniMax deal. This is also a game that is multi-plat. This game is available on PC and PlayStation, and probably more than likely, if they ever make another version of Elder Scrolls Online, it's going to remain multi-plat, because, I mean, if you look on the screen right now and you see the absolute chaos, there is probably maybe like 15, 20 people in that little clip just running around doing this dark anchor. And sometimes, I mean, during certain events, especially with this expansion coming out for Gold Road, you're probably going to go into some of the main cities, and they're going to be like to the walls with people everywhere. And they're like, you'll see everything from people dueling to having dance battles. So, it's definitely good fun. So
yeah, it's a great game. It's got a lot of stuff to do, like you said.
Right. And that's where, if you guys haven't checked this game out, I would definitely suggest taking the time. And yes, Pyro, forgive me, I just looked at my chat. This is new. It's only the second episode. We were making jokes earlier because being the second episode, there's already some shenanigans going on behind the scenes. Oh man. All right. So, but moving on, let's just talk about the other game. Like now, this is the one that me and him are excited for. There is some people that are in their. I don't know how the hell anybody got in their emotions about this game. I'm a little confused on some of the narratives that are also surrounding this game when it comes to just uproar from the community, at least the small vocal community that seems to be the loudest on social media. But let's just start with Star Wars Outlaws. Let's look at when I heard about Star Wars Outlaws, and I still feel this way right now, I felt like one of the people in the Wizard of Oz dancing around screaming the Wicked Witch is dead. Because let's face it, this is something that, like, I mean, even think about it, Mickey. Have we not seen a Star Wars game put out since the Xbox 360 era that was not tied to Electronic Arts?
That's true. Every single one. That's true.
Every single one. And what we've gotten, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the Battlefront that EA did and the Battlefront 2 after they fixed Battlefront 2. In my opinion, I really felt Battlefront 1 was a little funner, especially with Walker Assault. You remember Walker Assault?
Yeah, that one was good.
Dude, it made me so sad. I tried logging into that game a couple weeks ago, and the lobbies are literally tumbleweeds. No, but there's not enough people to get a match of Walker Assault going. Maybe if you play the game on Steam, but
yeah, probably.
At least with like Xbox, definitely there's not enough people to get a match going. And I left matchmaking going for like 15-20 minutes just to see if it'd build one. And you got to have like a 40 player lobby, and I think 6 people came in. Like, it's so disappointing.
Oh my gosh, that sucks.
I just, there's one critique that I wish more developers or publishers would require the developers to at least maybe have systems in place to create bots to help fill it in a little bit. But, that's a whole nother argument. But going back to Star Wars Outlaws, so what makes this interesting is it's coming from Ubisoft. A lot of people have, people do have their discontent for Ubisoft because, some people want to say their games are repetitive when it comes to the Far Cries and the Assassin's Creeds. In my opinion, I really enjoyed what happened when they kind of did like the rebranding of Assassin's Creed with Assassin's Creed Origins. I played the hell out of that. I did Odyssey, played way too much Odyssey. I think I got like 300 hours in that game. I still got to play Valhalla, but that's because I've got some PTSD from it. Because
that one's awesome.
Dude, I played Valhalla for 2 hours, and it was when I got my Xbox Series X, and it bricked my Series X. And I still remember I was like, I was rowing a boat across the ocean, and all of a sudden, boom, black screen. I still have it on my capture card. I'm like, oh, that experience right there. And I haven't been to Valhalla since, and that was on launch day. And that's the funny part. So I bought the Ultimate Edition of Valhalla. I think it was like, what, 120? Apparently, all of a sudden, there's some people out there wanting to say that Ubisoft is price gouging, wanting $130 for the Ultimate Edition of the Star Wars Outlaws. I'm kind of wondering how we jumped to price gouging, considering, yes, I've seen them go from 110 to 120. Now we're at 130. As a matter of fact, I just also for Christmas bought myself the Ultimate Edition of, Avatar. I'm still playing through it, but I felt like it was a really good, clean game. And you know what the hilarious part is? There's like little to no bugs, at least that I've ran into in Avatar, compared to some other stuff that's come out. Like, no offense, I'm not trying to like sound insulting, but everybody's up on Baldur's Gate, but apparently there's still save issues over on the Xbox side. So I don't get why Ubisoft gets this bad rap of, everybody gets upset when they hear like Ubisoft. Yeah, they've had some ups and downs as a developer, but at least at one point in time, they were actually considered one of my top developers. But also they there are a lot of people saying like, why do we have a season pass in a single player game? I remember Fallout 4 had a season pass. They called it a season pass. So people are getting the term season pass construed. And this is the one thing that I really wish they would maybe learn. And I'm not saying the consumers or the people, I'm talking about developers and publishers, maybe differentiate between a season pass on a multiplayer game, which is where like with Suicide Squad or Call of Duty or other multiplayer-esque games as a service, where you play a season pass, and as you level it up, you get basically different unlocks and crafting resources and skins, or even extra currency. There's just it's like a loot box style season pass. Is that a good way to describe it, Mickey?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
So, but now there's also what the single player experience calls a season pass. And that's what people need to understand and realize that. So for games, for them, they refer to a season as a 1-year cycle. And that's why when we got Assassin's Creed Valhalla, that 1-year cycle included a couple of expansions, but after the 1-year cycle, they released Ragnarok, not to be confused with the PlayStation version, but the Ubisoft Assassin's Creed Valhalla version of Ragnarok. That came after the 1 year, and so that was outside of the season. If we look at Borderlands 3, Borderlands 3 actually has 2 individual season passes for a single player game. Season Pass 1 included DLCs that were specific to the first year launch, and the season pass for the second year, Grand Theft Alderan. I'll never call it Outlaws. It's Grand Theft Alderan. That's funny. So the season pass, that's where I'm just saying, like, single player games, it's like season passes are like, hey, any DLC that we drop during the first year as part of this pass, after the first year, we don't owe you anything. And that's where I know people are going to say that it's impossible, that, like, this is like, they make it sound like Ubisoft or the developers made this beautiful game, and then in come the corporate stooges, and they, pull out their amazing little scissors, and they start snipping content out of the concept, and they start turning it into DLC. And I'm at least wanting to look at it from my perspective, because I'm involved in developing products. You don't set out to essentially to do it like, okay, we're going to make the whole product and figure out what we're going to cut out. It's more like, this is what we want the base game to be, and then we want to craft some stories or DLC that we can obviously add on top of. It's kind of like me and you, Mickey, talk about like the whole food thing, where you can go get your ice cream, but when you start, it's like when you go to Cold Stone, you get your ice cream, but then all of a sudden you want to add some gummy bears, some sprinkles, some nuts, maybe a couple Oreos, and they start upcharging you like absorbently for that stuff because it's Cold Stone Creamery, but that's a different story. But it's like, it's kind of like, you can't expect to say that all of this needs to be in the game for one swathing price of like $60 or $70. I firmly stand behind that developers are and publishers are allowed to ask for a base game to be created, and that DLC be created for a season pass or to be sold after the fact to at least keep longevity for the game, or obviously extra revenue. I'm never.
Well, I think another thing too. Sorry to interrupt you, Phil.
No, dude, hop in. I feel like I'm rambling.
But the DLC also is to keep your attention in the game.
Right.
If you give it all at once, and then that's it, then then you're kind of like, okay, well, what now? The DLC keeps it kind of freshly and gives you the new stuff, over periods of time, which I'm good with that. Look at ESO. You know what I mean? So, I think the DLC also it's to help you keep staying involved in that game too, as well. So, that's another reason why, I don't think they're just going to stuff everything all in once, in the base game. That'd be crazy.
Dude, could you imagine if Elder Scrolls tried to stuff all that in a base game? They'd be like,
Dude,
oh, here's a $500 game.
Hey, that'd be like freaking that would be like World of Warcraft doing it. How many DLCs they have over the years? I mean, that would be crazy.
Well, here, hold on to that thought real quick. Welcome, Blue. Glad to see you're here. And Pyro, I'm definitely going to remember that one too, as Avatar being Intergalactic Fern Gully, because it really is Fern Gully. Like, oh my God, there's a machine polluting the environment. Except for in Fern Gully, they did not want to blow that thing up. Over in Pandora, in Avatar, it's like, all right, I'm going to kill everybody and we're going to blow that SOB sky high. but now speaking of World of Warcraft, you did hear that there is potential that they're like if somebody's kicking the rumor can around saying that potentially once Xbox gets really nestled in with Blizzard Activision, that we could see World of Warcraft come to console. If
I'll believe it when I see it.
You know what the funny part is? If it did, that's what I'd finally be like, hey, Mickey, I want to go check out WoW.
And I've got my opinions on why it would be kind of difficult, but I'll leave those for another day. So,
if you think about it, gamers spend a lot of money on games, whether it's buying DLC skins, Ultimate Edition of the game. Games are not cheap. No, games are not cheap. And that's actually kind of the hilarious part is, so I have an article here that I haven't even showed Mickey because this is like a different thing that I just found it today and I really want to talk about it. But so Saber Interactive, the guys that just escaped the clutches of Embracer Group, the group that is doing the remake or the remaster, what have you, of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, the game that literally PlayStation wants nothing to do with because the developer that was supposed to do that game dropped the ball, messed it up. The game was not able to be completed and PlayStation got screwed out of a lot of money over that. And now Saber's the one that's picked that ball up and they're going to try to run that thing across the goal line. And they bought them, from what I've heard, that with an investor, they were able to buy themselves out of Embracer Group. Now, that's the interesting part. According to the CEO, Matthew Karch, he believes that $70 games will become a thing of the past. And he thinks it's, and he says, I don't think it's sustainable. I still have to dissect this entire article for the most part. But what's interesting about it, what he means by it's not sustainable, is the cost of gaming has gotten insane. So that is where I do really believe that we're going to have instances where developers charge a stupid price for a game, for a base game. I'm calling it right now, Grand Theft Auto 6 at being $100 for a base game.
Oh yeah.
I'm calling that right now. Hopefully I'm wrong, but everybody thought I'd be wrong when I said that, there's going to be supply chain shortages longer than 3 months when the whole pandemic thing happened and they thought Xboxes and PlayStations would be everywhere 3 months after launch, and it took 2 years. But that's where I think they're going to make cuts, and I think either A, we're going to see more expensive games, or B, we're going to see games with less features in them, like split screen co-op. We might not even see the mythical, do or die 60 frames a second that I really think is very overblown. 60 frames a second only belongs in shooters. I actually liked what Lemon 108s actually said on Twitter the other day, that if you're over here dieharding for 60 frames a second, yo ass better never have played freaking Rainbow Six Siege. Me and Mickey here have a lot of time under Rainbow Six Siege. There was times that game was a freaking slideshow. So,
oh my gosh.
But now here we are, like, going on a tangent, but getting back to Star Wars Outlaws. So what makes this game even cooler is it's a Star Wars game that is not going to go down the realm of you're a mythical knight in a galaxy with a magical light up sword. Like, don't get me wrong, I played the hell out of Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor. I enjoyed The Force Unleashed, but as you can see, the majority of successful Star Wars games revolve around you either being a Jedi or a Sith, but no matter what, you have access to a lightsaber and Force abilities. Mm-hmm. And now that's interesting in what we're about to say, because just speaking of Saber and Knights of the Old Republic remaster, what made Knights of the Old Republic a very special game was you could be a scoundrel, a rebel, a Jedi, a Sith. I even think you could be a droid. Like, there was a lot of flexibility in that game. So if you didn't want to be a Jedi and you wanted to be a character like Lando Calrissian or Han Solo that didn't have a force ability if their life depended on it, you could do that. And I really do think this is going back into that realm of showing that Star Wars can be more than just a Jedi-based game. Through some of the gameplay, it looked really cool how she was having, obviously she was behind cover. She was blowing stuff up in the environment. She was shooting at enemies. They were dropping ammo. She was sending the creature that follows her around to fetch the ammo.
Yep.
And it just looks very unique. And so I'm definitely going to put it out there. That's probably going to be like mind blowing, like to a lot of people, but definitely, this is probably going to more than likely be a day one buy for me, and it's going to be out in August. What do you think, Mickey?
Yeah. I'm going to get it when it comes out too, because, there's two things. See, I didn't hear anything about as far as customization for KVS, but there's two things that I like in games. My particular games is customization and open world. Clearly, it's open world, so I'm kind of curious on what the customization is going to be in that game. But I'm excited nonetheless because it looks really good. The travel, being able to travel on the bike, and having Nix help you do things, and I think it's going to be awesome, and that's going to be a day one buy for me too. Yeah, that game looks amazing.
It does it looks amazing, and I also like. It was like she was switching the settings on the blaster while she was fighting. You could definitely see that there's like a mix of different gameplays from, like, obviously we saw maybe some takeaways from Assassin's Creed. But we also saw some takeaways from, I don't want to say Fallout. I mean, not Fallout, Far Cry, but that's where because you don't like, what are some other third person perspective games that have come out of Ubisoft? Because a lot of them are first person.
Division's Ubisoft, right?
Okay, actually, there you go. The Division, that's a better representation of having, your different abilities that you can use to help you kind of like get an upper edge on the situation. Like, I remember when we would play the Division, and one guy would have the little drone that would run around and heal. Another one would have the little turret that you threw out. And then, of course, you have the guys with the drones that would fly over, and it felt like you'd bring something to the fight to give you an edge, and like at least watching
definitely a good mix of stuff for setting up your character. Yeah, definitely.
So at least that's where I'm wondering what it's going to look like exactly. like as the game gets closer and closer, we're gonna see more and more stuff come out from Outlaws. But I'm definitely excited for Outlaws. I'm not gonna get up into the
Absolutely.
hoopla of, you know, there is a lot of stuff going on in gaming right now. I understand that there is a lot of God, what's the word we're looking for? Controversial stuff that takes place in gaming that, a lot of people probably wishes that.
It's really just time for us to enjoy gaming.
See,
And
that's
stop
the other thing
worrying
too.
about all
Yes.
the outside shit. Just enjoy gaming. Have fun. That's what gaming was. That's what gaming was originally. It's just to have fun, enjoy it. We enjoyed the gaming. Whenever big social media wasn't around, what did we do? Sat at home and played games and enjoyed it.
See, dude,
You know,
I don't understand. Like, I understand where people feel like maybe there's something going on in gaming where, like, we're getting this change in, like, culture and what is acceptable, what is not socially acceptable. Some people may not like how hard change is being pushed. But at the end of the day, when it comes to a game like Star Wars Outlaws, you knew, like, I'm actually technically on vacation, and my employer right now won't leave me alone for 5 freaking minutes. And my release from just the crap that takes place in real life is playing video games,
it's gaming.
is gaming,
Absolutely.
and that's where
100%.
exactly, and that's where I understand that, like, there's some real world issues on there, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to get up in arms over some things taking place in gaming that are extremely, at least trivial in my eyes, versus, like, bigger problems in the world, like, like we all go through it. Inflation's out of control. We could sit here and talk all damn day long on exactly how things haven't gotten any easier for any of us. And the last thing I want to do is, I just think it's really interesting that people are worried more about the politics in gaming than the politics that is involved in helping decide things in the world that we live in that affect our pocketbooks. Like,
well, gaming is our getaway,
exactly.
and if it's your getaway, you want to enjoy it. So enjoy it. Don't worry about all the outside noise. Just have fun and play. Play your game, enjoy it. Get your friends around, come play, and just have fun. That's what it's about. Have freaking fun.
Exactly. Just having fun, playing what you want. But when it comes to Star Wars Outlaws, please, everybody, if you're a Star Wars fan, obviously we're gonna stay. Let's face it. Am I gonna pre-order the game? In my world, what happens is I pre-order generally the week that the game is supposed to come out, because I've seen how sometimes they'll change, like, a launch date, like a month before the game comes out, or a couple weeks. Generally, I wait till the week of if I'm interested in the pre-order bonuses. Otherwise, if you are one of those that really want to see what happens, I would just wait for the game to come out. Now, there's two ways to do this. You can wait for the game to come out and you can watch reviews. And when I say watch reviews, go watch your favorite game streamer or your favorite YouTube content creator that does not get sucked up into basically just doing stuff for clicks. Go and really watch somebody play the game. Don't go to the gaming media sites and listen to the hoopla of, like, this is my personal life preferences and this, that, and the other. I'm a Democrat or a Republican kind of take on something. Just make your own decision by, like, for me, what actually helps me determine buying a game is watching somebody like ACG or going on Twitch or YouTube and watching, like, the first half hour of gameplay of the game to get a feel for the writing, the sound, the gameplay. And if it looks like, oh, I would have fun playing that, then get the game. Don't base it off of somebody making you feel like it's okay to buy the damn game. If you want to play this, just buy the damn game. So, that's where, like, man, we're just like, see, that's what I mean. We're just really cut and dry. We're not going to sit here and like, stroke every conversation, we'll say. So I know I see people talking about it in the chat, Pyro Blue, everybody else. I'm definitely excited for this one. My wife and I have watched the trailers. Mickey here just watched the trailers. It comes out tomorrow. I'm pretty sure there's some people already watching it because they probably VPN themselves into New Zealand or something and are already watching it. But we are talking about none other than the Fallout television show. I have played every Fallout game that has ever been handed to me, except for, I didn't get into Fallout 1 and 2 because I was a PC deal. Every Fallout game on console I've played, except for there was one I didn't get into a whole lot, and that was Fallout 76. But that was because I got the game when it first came out. I also have the Power Armor edition. It's actually up on the wall behind this curtain, like with the helmet. I went all in on Fallout 76, but when I played the game and found that it lacked that charm that comes with Fallout games, with the NPCs and just what takes place in the world because of the NPCs, it was like they tried to make a game that revolved around reading books and notes. Yeah, no. I'm not against reading. I have games that you can, like, you know, if we get into a game, like when we're talking about Remedy's Control, there's reading in that game, but the whole game does not revolve around it. Fallout 76 really kind of let me down during launch, but they have really turned it around. And here's a little juicy,
yes, they have.
Right. And here's a juicy tidbit for you guys right now. As a matter of fact, I think on the 12th, or like when the television show goes live, as part of the Amazon Gaming, like through Twitch and stuff, if you have Amazon Prime, go to Amazon Gaming, and they are giving away Fallout 76, the digital version, for either PC or Xbox. You just got to tell it which copy you want, and it'll give you a key for whatever code. Obviously, on PC, I think the game is going to be supplied by Amazon, but they'll give you like a key or something for you to unlock the game on your Xbox. It is in Game Pass, but if you're like me, who's going to say no to a free game? So definitely you can get Fallout 76 for free. And that's to celebrate what's going on with the Fallout television show. This is something that I've watched very closely through its production. I like the fact that there is going to be CG in the television show, but I like the fact that technically the individual in the power armor, it's really a guy that's in a very specially made suit to make it be able to be movable. But I mean, that is a legit dude in an actual existing power armor costume. I like, cool. It looks cool. I love, you know, like, did you watch the end of like the 2 minute little, like the 2 minute little clip where at the end, it's like, it's where he's like either stand down or get cut down. And I'm like, what? Yeah.
Well, I guess that tells you.
Right. Or the ghoul. You have the ghouls, the vault dwellers, but they're still leaving a lot of open. It's almost going to be like, I'm hoping it turns into like Game of Thrones status, because like how the one guy said, everybody is trying to save the world. They just can't agree on how to do that. And if you know,
and they talk about the Brotherhood in it too.
Right. Now that's where, so if we go off of the Brotherhood of Steel, the Brotherhood of Steel does not feel any culture, any person is allowed to have technology except for them, because having access to technology is what caused the end of the world. So therefore the Brotherhood of Steel, actually, they seem like really nice guys. They seem really cool. But if you get into the Fallout series, if you have technology, they will come and whoop your ass for it, because they don't want you to have it. They want all technology to belong to them, because in their weird minds, they're the only ones that can be trusted with it. And then you have the vault dwellers. Now that's where the vault dwellers, it all depends on what vault you came from, because the vault, it just like, each vault had its own like experiment, Like they would put different people in different vaults, and like you'd have some vaults that were dedicated to science. They had other vaults that were dedicated to people that enjoyed fighting. It like, at least from this perspective, it seems like this is just a generic vault of just generic people that just tried to survive the apocalypse, and now they're walking back out there and they're being exposed to all the different factions. And obviously she's being made fun of because they thought all the vault dwellers were dead. You have the ghouls, which are people that are essentially the gentleman that's missing his nose. The ghouls are people or human beings that were exposed to radiation at such a high dose that it caused their ears and nose and cartilage to rot off, but they didn't die from the radiation, and they almost are now immune to it. But some ghouls actually retained their humanity, and there's other ghouls where you have known as feral ghouls, where the radiation actually went to their brain, and they're as crazy as a stray cat. I mean, they'll take your damn face off if you give them a chance. But there's still other factions that really haven't been talked about. Like you have the New California Republic. You have Caesar's Legion. You have the Super Mutants. You have the Institute, like the guys that would make robots that walked among us. I'm just really curious on how far down the rabbit hole Amazon went with the production of Fallout. But at least for me, from what I've seen from the trailers and the little sneak peeks in the production, I'm excited for this. I'm more excited for this than The Last of Us 2. I have still yet to watch the Halo television show. This is more of a, I gotta watch this day one. And that's where, how do you feel about this, Mickey? Since, I mean, have you even watched any of the stuff from like Halo or The Last of Us?
I have not. Nope. I haven't watched either. I do want to watch The Last of Us because apparently it's really good. And I've got such a brain that just goes everywhere and tries to watch all kinds of other stuff, and I just keep forgetting. So The Last of Us, I do want to see. The Halo one, I might look into just to see how it is. That one really didn't catch my eye too much, but I may check it out just to see, give it a chance, see how it is. But the Fallout one, I'm really excited for. That's probably the one I'm the most excited for out of all of them, because that's more of, it's a game that I really enjoyed, so I want to see how it matches up, how they, pull it together. So I'm excited about that one. And I never really played Last of Us because I didn't have because that's a PlayStation game, right? And I didn't have a PlayStation at the time anyway, so.
No, if you want to, I'll loan you The Last of Us. I'll loan you The Last of Us television show and the game. I own them all physically. I also own the Halo television show physically.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
I think The Last of Us is on HBO Max, and Halo's on Paramount Plus.
Okay, I got Max.
I would definitely say check out The Last of Us, because it was actually like, me and my wife really enjoyed watching that one. That was one that stayed very almost true to the source material.
Okay.
I will definitely say
I'd have to play the game to get the, understand the story and stuff, because I'm clueless of the story on that. So
no, but that's the thing. You don't need to play the game. They took a couple liberties in the television show where the stuff wasn't involved in the game, but or they did branch off a little bit from the game. But if you want to talk about one that really did branch off from the source material, that was Halo. And essentially Master Chief in the television show takes his helmet off. He talks, he makes love. And one thing that really got people irked is the Covenant in Halo, the television show, has a human that's part of the Covenant. And we all know from playing the original Halo games that the Covenant hated humans. They were extremely racist of them. So they've taken a lot of liberties with the Halo television show. And the Halo television show is designed for people that were not playing Halo. The Last of Us television show, I think, was designed for both players and non-players, because I know Neil Druckmann, one of the individuals responsible for creating The Last of Us, also had his hands in the development of the television show. But from the way it looks with the Fallout TV show, it looks like it's really trying to do justice for the fans of Fallout, and also trying to expose people to, in my opinion, a very, very unique experience, especially when you just, like, we've seen a lot of movies and different parts of entertainment that really try to talk about the end of the world, the wasteland, and just how things will function. I just feel, from just how much of a sci-fi nut that I am, that Fallout really took it in a direction that is extremely unique, and I really feel like they really did it justice when it came to the end of the world. But that's one thing people like, just to give people a concept of this. The reason why it feels like 1940s, 1950s with floating cars, robots, guys in suits of power armor, was because in a period of human history, we had something known as the Dark Ages. During the Dark Ages, people were not allowed to do science, medical stuff. It was a period of time where religion ran with an iron fist, and anybody who tried to do anything outside of what was considered socially acceptable on a religious aspect, it could get you locked up or even hung. So during the Dark Ages, there was a 200-year period of time where people were not able to scientifically advance themselves through science and medical means and stuff like that. What Fallout did through the creation of the Fallout, storyline in the Fallout franchise, is they went off of the concept that the Dark Ages never occurred, and that people were still allowed to continue to advance themselves for 200 years, scientifically and medically. And this is why at least in their world, by the 1950s, we already had robots and flying cars, because there wasn't that 200-year period of time where doing stuff like that was bad. So that's why that was the one twist that they used. That's why you see, like, it looks like the 1950s. You ever wondered that?
I mean, it was always interesting, but I just never really.
You never really realized it.
No.
Yeah, I
didn't
read
really
this
pay attention, I guess, either. So
I read this whole thing on, like, the developers and stuff, on they wanted to really create something unique, and they decided to just go off the concept that, well, okay, well, we the Dark Ages never occurred. And that's how we have, if you watch, like, some of the commercials, like for Fallout 4, robots out there mowing the grass, trimming the shrubs, cars flying, nuclear powered reactors in our homes, powering our homes. And then obviously the U.S. military fighting World War III, or essentially we had World War II, and then it went into some different kind of war. And I think it was like they considered it a different war, but essentially all hell broke loose, and obviously people fired nukes, and you get Fallout.
I see.
I'm more of a sandbox gamer. Some prefers mod heavy games. It's almost like Fallout. Okay. See, that's one thing that I will definitely say that Bethesda really has going for it, Drew, is, like, they're one of the few developers that actually love the community modding their game. Bethesda took it to such a crazy direction with modding, is they actually let gamers have access to the developer tools to mod the games, like, on a developer level. That's why we see expansions for Skyrim still being made. Mm-hmm. We see stuff for Fallout 4 being made. And I think they just Bethesda. Whoops, I can't spell. Bethesda hires modder. I spelled that. Yeah. Okay, yep, right here. Like September of last year, Bethesda hired a noted modder to help with Starfield's clutter and lighting. And there's also been other instances of there was actually one I feel like very recently. I don't yeah. I could probably dig into it. Monty, I know Bethesda has a history of hiring certain modders to help them with fixing stuff in the games, because some of these modders have just such an advanced knowledge of the developer tools that they can like they can even do some wizardry that the developers even find insane. So that's one thing that Bethesda really did right, was allowing gamers or people like the modding community to flourish around their titles. And we're seeing that now coming around with where people are getting excited to start playing with some of the modding tools for Starfield. What's up, Adidas? Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, checking it out. Again, this is only our second episode. We're still finding our stride, but here we're not going to we're not here to look at the glass half empty. We are here to look at the glass half full. And there is definitely a lot of takeaways to talk about. Like, we talked about Elder Scrolls with their next expansion. It may not be everybody's cup of tea, but it's definitely great to see a game like that still getting expansions years after its release. We kind of went on a little bit of a conversation with Star Wars Outlaws and just talking about how that's going to probably be a day one buy for us. And we're excited to just be able to play a Star Wars game that is not got EA attached to it. And then, of course, we've got the Fallout television show that we're all going to probably be binging the hell out of, and probably maybe not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after. Maybe me and Mickey here can maybe dissect a little bit of how we felt about the show without trying to give away spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like for everybody to know, Amazon advertised it that the Fallout television show season 1 will be released in its entirety. Every episode will be available as of tomorrow. And like I said, there's probably already people watching it right now and releasing spoilers on the internet because they probably VPN themselves into New Zealand. So let's really get into a conversation that I'm pretty sure Mickey here is thrilled, because we got to at least get what we refer to as the outsider's take on myths and rumors that surround Xbox. Now, let's first start off on the real piece, the real slice of news that has at least me excited and some other people excited on social media. And that is where apparently Sarah Bond has not only come out and said that there is going to be future hardware, as in there is going to be another iteration of the Xbox, but that she is also implementing a team to start looking at essentially what they called forward compatibility. And that definitely opens up the doors. Are we going to see once again backwards compatibility get used to leverage the strength of the Xbox brand? We saw Xbox really set themselves apart from the competition with the Xbox One in backwards compatibility and allowing people to bring their older games forward with them. Obviously, because of licensing restriction and other BS stuff that really slows down the process, Xbox was not able to do everything from the Xbox 360 era, but they brought over a good majority of titles, some very popular ones. And then they took it a step further with obviously the Xbox One X, essentially giving like running the games at a faster frame rate and essentially getting those games to look the best they could with that tech. And then fast forward into the Xbox Series S and the Series X. The Xbox Series S and the Series X has frame rate boosts, HDR support for some games. basically, these are the best versions of these older games that you could ever play on a console, at least. And this really sets Xbox apart from the crowd when it comes to the competitive nature of consoles, on that Xbox has done a lot of this free of charge. They have not charged people for frame boosts. They have not charged people for games having HDR support. Don't get me wrong, not every game title that has ever gotten these boosts is free. Like I remember like Remedy's Control, you had to buy the Ultimate Edition to get like the frame boost and stuff like that. But when we're talking like older Xbox 360 titles, they gave you that for free. So it's good to see that Sarah Bond is basically wanting to keep the brand going forward. They thought for sure that we weren't going to get another Xbox, or at least the naysayers were trying to say that. And then also we're going to see that Xbox is once again wanting to respect the purchases of their consumers by keeping their purchases alive and still playable. I know there was a lot of people that were trying to say that Xbox is going to go away and we're all going to lose our digital libraries. By Sarah Bond's statements around the future hardware and the development of this forward compatibility team, it really makes me feel comfortable in continuing to invest into the Xbox ecosystem, both in the future and still going to my local retro game store and buying some of the older titles. How do you feel, Mickey?
I think it's cool that they're going to keep the backward compatibility moving forward. I know there was something I read on the article that they are closing. What was it? They're closing parts of the Xbox 360 store for new purchases.
Yes, the entire Xbox 360 marketplace is actually going to be shut down towards the end of July. And I have an Xbox 360. I can't even sign on to Xbox Live to get achievements. Yeah, that basically the Xbox online connectivity of the Xbox 360 is going to be a brick.
Okay, I see. Well, even so, I mean, doing the backwards compatibility and them keeping it and letting us know that they're making us feel like everything's it's still going to be good. We're still going to have our games, even the 360 one, the 360 games for backwards compatibility. It's great because there's so many games that people play still that you still want to get a hold of, because I mean the 360 had all kinds of amazing titles. So I think it's cool, and hopefully everything goes as they say. I like to say that I have that I'm keeping them to their word.
Nobody has a crystal ball,
right? You want to hopefully that they stay to their word, and I'll believe them until I don't. You know what I mean? So if they keep moving forward with it, and they keep doing exactly what they say, then I mean it's awesome. It's amazing, and we should be happy with that. And like you were saying, they don't charge you for, they don't charge us for, taking the games and improving the graphics and just making them even better for us. I mean, that's what they're doing. They're enhancing it graphically. I mean, it's not going to be like over the edge or anything, but it looks better.
It's all through the hardware. That's the cool part about it, is a developer is not sitting down in a computer and hammering out code or doing anything to the game. It's all through hardware enhancements.
Well, I mean, either way, it's wonderful. It's good for us. It's good for the Xbox gamers. And it does, put Xbox ahead as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I said in, last week that I have no issues with playing PlayStation and stuff, but I mean, Microsoft is taking the steps needed to show us that, hey, this we're trying to make it better for you guys. We're trying to improve things, and from what I've seen, they've done what they said. And as long as they keep doing that, then I mean, I'm on board. I'm I'm pumped. So, these are all improvements for Xbox gamers, are, good, positive things for us. So, let's enjoy it. Let's, if they keep moving forward and keep making these improvements, it's all better for us. So, enjoy it while we can, and hopefully they keep taking those steps forward and doing these things for us, because if it gets better, I mean, that's awesome. That's amazing.
I'm trying to read your name, but Shub343, welcome, and Pyro, definitely, yeah, you're right. I don't even know if Mickey realizes that, but did you know on PlayStation they charge for cloud saves?
Do they really?
Yeah, you got to pay for the subscription to get access to the cloud.
Dude, that's crazy. Why would they do that?
See, I told you he doesn't keep up with some of this stuff.
I mean, that's insanity.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. So if you want to save your, like, if you buy a new PlayStation, you either got to thumb drive your saves to the new PlayStation, or because they don't save to the hard drive. You actually got to thumb drive them. Or you got to pay for the subscription and upload your saves to the cloud storage and then download them from the cloud onto the news. So basically, you got to pay like $15 to get access to the cloud for a month.
That is crazy.
That's
so I have a quick question for you, Phil.
Uh-huh.
So I heard that, what's his name? Jim Ryan, the guy that runs Sony, I guess.
Well, he runs PlayStation. He doesn't run all of Sony.
Runs PlayStation, but I guess he's retiring or whatever.
Yeah, I think he actually retired I think it was like at the end of March was the end of his tenure.
Do you think that they might make any of those, make any changes to improve it with him gone now?
See, that's one thing I've wondered. Like, I'm going to say it right now. Towards the end of his tenure, they finally did a video or a montage of Jim Ryan where he talked about like playing FIFA and some other games. And I was floored. I was like, where the hell was this version of Jim Ryan a long time ago? Because I thought he never touched a controller a day in my life. And then he's talking about playing stuff on the original PlayStation and all this other stuff. I was like, where was this dude the whole time? But he was one of those that I really do feel was really financially focused on charging everything he could to players. Like when it came to treating at least the PlayStation consumer base like a walking ATM, like when Horizon Forbidden West came out, the game was marketed and advertised as, if you buy it on the PlayStation 4 and you have the PlayStation 5, you'll get the PlayStation 5 version of the game with all the enhancements free of charge. When the game came out, it was almost like, take backsies. Yeah, you don't get that. And people started showing them all like the media clips and stuff that they said that, and now they go into the realm of, false advertising. So, of course, backtracking. All right, we're going to give you the PlayStation 5 version of the game, but this is the last time. Like, they insinuated this will be the last time. So PlayStation does not give you open paths to upgrade your games free of charge like Xbox does. Like, if I go, like, if you own the the Xbox One version, or if you bought a copy of Halo 5 back in the day on disc, and you put it into your Xbox One X, your Xbox Series X, and there's a Series X patch, it's going to automatically through, oh my God, I forget the name of it. It's a feature that it basically knows that it's on upgraded hardware. And so it's going to download the upgrade patch for the game, and it's going to install it onto your console. So that way you get all the upgrades for the game on the newer hardware. That happens free of charge for first party studio games on Xbox. That does not happen free of charge with PlayStation.
I see.
And that's where I'm kind of curious on. So the new guy running PlayStation right now, he's supposed to be temporary. I don't know if he's going to be replaced this year or next year or whenever. They just said that right now he's like an intermedium style CEO. And his name is Hiroki Totoki. He's actually been around Sony for a while. As you can tell, it went from, Jim Ryan was British, where Hiroki Totoki is obviously Japanese.
Right.
So he has a different perspective. Hiroki Totoki feels that PlayStation has been spending money very irresponsibly, and that's where Hiroki Totoki is starting to go down this realm of wanting to put games on PC. We saw Helldivers 2, which is technically a game that is exclusive to the PS5 that was also launched on PC, and it had a huge launch on PC. So they're really starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to being more flexible. We also saw PlayStation drop its publishing rights for Predator Hunting Grounds. So later this year, we're also going to see a PlayStation exclusive known as Predator Hunting Grounds come to Xbox. I am very curious on if they are going to be more flexible on stuff like cloud saves. But as of this point, I have not seen Sony kind of going down that road of wanting to do that. But hey, you never know, because I mean,
right.
I would definitely say your competition is doing it. But, you know, if we look at the problem right now, like, you know, it is kind of shitty to say, but definitely like Xbox, PlayStations are still selling almost 2-1. But there's a lot more litigating factors on that. Like, PlayStation is sold in more regions. And also it's just, definitely PlayStation has a large amount of fanfare, but
yeah,
you know, smart delivery. Thank you, Blue. That is the system that they use to determine when you have an upgraded console. Thank you. Smart delivery. Too many words in this crazy little head, but going back,
I was just curious. So
no, that's perfectly fine. PlayStation is definitely in a state of flux right now. So PlayStation has been dropping banger after banger after banger for a while now. Don't get me wrong. PlayStation has a beautiful first-party library. They also get some really good third-party deals going. And also, if you are really into Eastern-style, Asian-style games, like your Final Fantasies and also some of your more hardcore JRPG stuff, PlayStation is the console to beat. Xbox definitely has to pave the way, but we already heard Satya Nadella, the gentleman that's in charge of Microsoft, that Phil Spencer, the guy who's in charge of Xbox, he answers to Satya, and Satya came out that they are looking to push forward more of a presence in Japan and the Asian markets. And so I'm really hoping that their partnership with Sega. There's also some rumors, and like, we'll get into the rumors. So yeah, here's a rumor right now, Mickey, before we get into the actual main rumor we were talking about. There is a rumor floating around that people are trying to say that PlayStation is in some secret behind the scenes battle to prevent Xbox Microsoft from purchasing Square Enix. As we all know, Square Enix has done the Avengers game recently, Outriders recently, and also Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
Outriders and Avengers were regretfully not very successful.
Correct.
Guardians of the Galaxy was not as successful as they would have liked it to been, but I actually enjoyed playing Guardians of the Galaxy. That was a good game.
Yep.
What has really been setting them apart is obviously the Final Fantasy games, Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy Recore, Strangers Paradise, Strange Paradise, however, the Final Fantasy 16, and also they now have the Final Fantasy 14 game, the online game that just now came to Xbox. I am going to be one of those that is going to plop the tinfoil hat off of everybody, and I'm not going to say Xbox is going to purchase Square Enix. I think they have a better chance of purchasing Sega because there's a better partnership there. And it's also, from what I've read, extremely difficult for a Western American-based business to purchase a Western, an Eastern based Asian business in Japan, especially. I don't think that they're purchasing Square Enix, but we know that through a lot of the missteps that Square Enix has made with obviously Avengers, Outriders, and some other games. I also really do think they shot themselves in the foot by allowing PlayStation to secure certain Final Fantasy games as exclusive, because the sales are still not meeting Square Enix's expectations. That being said, I think Xbox might be giving them an injection of money as a partnership with Square Enix, where they are now going to have a stronger cooperation with Square Enix. And I'm really thinking that part of this cooperation and this injection of money that they're probably going to put into Square Enix is going to break down the exclusive barriers that PlayStation has put up. And I think that's the secret battle that's going on behind the scenes. I think that PlayStation does not want Microsoft's checkbook to essentially buy Square Enix out of making certain Final Fantasy games and other games that come out of Square Enix exclusive, like Forspoken. And I'm really wondering, is one of the negotiation tactics that Xbox or Microsoft is using in these negotiations with Square Enix, that they get access to certain titles that PlayStation has cut them off from. And that's where I really feel, at least that's where in my mind, my logical mind, that's where the rumors can be leading up to, is I don't see them buying Square Enix. I see them giving them a huge injection of revenue to help stabilize Square Enix from some of the losses that they've had and games not selling as good as they needed them to, and opening up the gates and allowing more Square Enix content to come to Xbox. What do you think?
You would definitely know a lot more about that than me, because I don't know about any of that behind the shadow stuff. But I mean, it wouldn't. I don't think, to me, just hearing that, it wouldn't make sense that, for Microsoft to purchase Square Enix because of the lack of, I want to say, I guess, lack of quality of their, of the few games like Avengers and Outriders. But who knows? Like you said, I mean, there could be other things going on, handshakes, loans or whatever. I mean, whatever could be going on, but I don't know. To me, it just wouldn't make sense. Microsoft.
I don't think they would buy Square Enix. No, because I feel like Sega has a more robust library, because if Microsoft is looking to make a purchase, Game Pass is going to be number one priority. And I feel I feel at least Sega has a much more robust library that would definitely be able to feed the beast known as Game Pass. And FaZe, thank you for tuning in. And yes, I don't advertise on my channels and stuff, but yeah, there was a period of time I stopped making content. And that was because, long story short, I had a pet that was like my best friend for 18 years pass away. And I just decided to take a break and hang out with the wife, because this cat was literally like my daughter, and it was just really sad. And I just decided to kind of just take a step back for a few weeks. So yes, I'm being penalized by the YouTube algorithm, but it's all good, man. I do this for fun. At the end of the day, that's why we're here. I talk about games, and I talk about, me and Mickey talk about games, and we kind of just give our input on what we think on what's going on. And that's where we're getting into the rumors of all the stuff that's circulating about Xbox is the final topic. And that's the main rumor, of course, that we all heard recently, that, Xbox has got this showcase coming in June. Yes, we all know that there's going to be a June showcase. Jeff Keighley's Summer of Games has taken the place of E3, and the Xbox stage event has transitioned right along with it, going from E3 to Jeff Keighley's Summer of Games. or Summer Game Fest, whatever the hell you want to call it. Good old Jeff Keighley. And I wonder what Jeff's going to say this year about the lack of PlayStation games. That's going to be a fun one to watch. But at any rate, Xbox is going to have their June showcase. That being said, there is a lot of rumors surrounding what is supposed to be at this June showcase. We've heard Call of Duty is supposed to be there. We've heard Call of Duty is not supposed to be there. Call of Duty is supposed to have its own standalone show. I honestly wonder what's really going to be shown at this whole stage event. There's obviously a lot of questions that still need to be answered on like what's going on with Activision Blizzard. How much further is Xbox going to be taking releasing games on other platforms? Are we going like, I don't think we're going to see like, I mean, like, I really do think the internet would be lit on fire that day. I still wouldn't care, but I don't think they're going to take Halo to PlayStation. There is some stuff like with Gears of War. I don't think Gears of War is going to be on PlayStation. I do foresee Gears of War going full PC launch. And that's with the, there's some rumors surrounding something known as the Marcus Phoenix Collection, where it will have all the Gears of War games put together in one collection. And what makes that very possible is the fact that I believe it's like the first 2 or the first 3 games never had a PC release. And so they're going to do this for the PC community, and obviously the Xbox community is going to benefit from this collection as well, especially if you haven't gotten into Gears of War. Now, that's what's interesting about this whole conversation is Mickey here bought his Xbox 360 specifically for the original Gears of War.
I bought Gears of War first
Yes.
before I had my 360.
Yes, you had the game before
I bought
you
the
had
game
the 360.
first. Yes, I did. Yep.
Oh,
Because
thank you, Faze.
I bought Gears of War because I was like, you know what? I'm getting my Xbox 360. So I bought the game first, and I was like, this makes me have to buy that system.
I know. But that being said, I've played the original game. I've played the the remaster of the original game. I've played 2. I'm a fraud and I never played 3, but it's in my backlog. I probably bet I got to get that one knocked out now. I played 4. I played 5. There is rumors surrounding Gears 6 coming out. And that's where, did you watch that demo video I gave you from the Coalition?
Which one?
It was the one before I gave you the outline for, God, you're gonna make me get on my phone.
I don't think I did see that one. I don't think I did.
No, you're all good. But yeah, it was before the guy who dropped his dumbbell on his cell phone. Me and Mickey text funny videos all the time. But so yeah, if you go and watch it, the Coalition did a Unreal Engine 5 demo called The Cavern, and I'm not saying this just towards you, Mickey, whoever else hears my voice that wants to watch it. You will see some striking resemblances between the character in that demo and the armor he's wearing that reminds you a little bit of Gears of War. And then also the environment is that like yellowish red, craggy, mountainous region like we got really familiar with in some of the areas that Gears 4 took place and Gears 5 took place. So you can, even though the demo is not supposed to be a representation of any game in development, you can obviously tell they took some inspiration from Gears of War in probably designing it. And at least when you look at this game, when you look at that demo, you're like, oh my God, I can only imagine what we're going to get in Gears 6. And that's where, did you play all of Gears 5?
No.
So at the end of Gears 5, you have to make a decision that affects the ending of the game. I'm really curious on how Gears 6 is going to approach that on, is it going to be like,
if they're going to like follow through, like,
are they going to follow through and respect your decision like we saw in in the Mass Effect games where the games knew your decisions, and so your decisions from the first game affected the second game, and the decisions from the second game affected the third.
Right.
And are we going to get something like that, or are we going to get something like Fallout 5, Fallout New Dawn, where Fallout 5 had multiple endings, but New Dawn revolves around a specific ending that, you know, like, in other words, if you didn't get that ending at the end of Fallout 5 and you went and played Fallout New Dawn, your ending was like canon. It was fodder. Like it didn't happen. Fallout New Dawn went down the road of a specific ending, you getting a specific ending for it to make sense. So that's where I'm wondering if Gears of War 6 is going to, which path it's going to go down on that one. Definitely, though, like, I guess the whole conversation here when it comes to, like, how about this before we get into what we're really trying to get at? Is there anything that you're excited for? Now, keep in mind, everybody, I live and breathe Xbox. I know a lot about what's going on behind the scenes because for whatever reason, I can't get enough about reading about what's going to happen. Mickey here consumes either what I show him or when he watches these stage events and he sees them. So he's not over here reading the clickbait pieces from the gaming media to get his attention. He's really tuning in for the events that he knows, like the E3s and the Xbox stage events. Is there any games that you can remember from those events that you would like to see at this upcoming event?
Gosh, I got to try to remember. 46, my memory's losing, so I have to try to think back.
It was a dream. Wake up at the start of Gear 6 and it was all a dream. Boba
to be
Fett.
honest with you, the only ones that I'm looking forward to are ones that are still kind of far out, like Elder Scrolls 6.
Okay.
That's what I'm really looking forward to, actually, to see what the next one from Skyrim is.
Speaking of Elder Scrolls 6, just real quick, let's blow everybody's mind. Do you give a flying rat's ass if that game's multi-plat or exclusive?
I could give two shits.
Yeah, okay.
If I can play it on Xbox, I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care. If PlayStation wants to play it, hey, go ahead, enjoy it. I mean, it's probably going to be a great game, and I can't. So I want everybody to have fun.
Dude, I want to talk about games with everybody. I don't want to sit there, you know, like we got Case on at work where it's just like, oh, he's got a PlayStation, and I feel bad sometimes when I'm just like, I'm playing this game. He's like, is it on PlayStation? No. And he's just like, look, I'm just like, oh man, see, this is where I'd rather have these conversations where we all get to play the damn game, but maybe I'm a little too kumbaya.
No, I'm that's what I'm talking about. I want everybody to enjoy Nintendo or Microsoft. I mean, have fun, enjoy it.
But getting back to it, is there any other games like or what about Fable?
I wouldn't mind checking out Fable. I need to play the other ones because I played
Fable 2 and Fable 3.
The first one and Fable 2.
I've got Fable 1 in the backlog.
2. Yeah, I think Fable 2 it was. And I really actually enjoyed that one, but I need to get into those ones a little bit more. I'm cool with, you know, if a new Fable comes out, maybe checking it out. Again, I should check out the other ones, but
here,
I'm gonna play what I'm gonna play what I want to play. So suck it.
Let's like more evidence of you being underground. Have you heard of Clockwork Revolution?
No.
Look that one up. That like when you see that, dude, that's gonna be another there's a concept of that from to me it reminds me of BioShock.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called Clockwork Revolution.
I did buy the BioShock set too. I need to play that one too because
so do I. I've even got it physically.
That's amazing. I think another game that I wanted to check out that I do want to see that I saw, and I have to do a little bit more research, see clips of it, and I was like, hey, that looks kind of cool. Is Avowed?
Avowed is one that's supposed to come out. So that's where this event is supposed to give us some basic in June. At least what we're hoping for is we'll get the release dates for Avowed. We'll get the release dates for Indiana Jones and the new Indiana Jones game, the Golden Circle, I believe it's called.
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
The Great Circle, yeah. See, I'm bad on that. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, Avowed, and yeah, there was another game. I'm over here having a brain lapse
was
on it.
it? Let's see. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024.
That one too. Like a lot of people are looking forward to that one. There's actually supposedly this new version of Microsoft Flight Simulator is going to actually have like missions in it. So I'm curious on how that's going to go over.
Interesting.
Like, I know it's like when I say missions, it's going to be like, get your passengers from this airport to the other one. I think there's, but I do think there's like somewhere there's like crop dusting, or I could be wrong, but I could have swore I also saw one where there was like a guy that was flying a plane that was for firefighting, and he had to dump water on like a fire. I mean,
that'd be kind of cool. I mean, to do that.
It definitely would give a little.
Game.
It would definitely give a little bit more flavor and substance to the game than just flying around.
Right.
Like I'm gonna say it right now, I'm a Forza fan, but I'm more of a Horizon person than I am a motorsport, because I'm sorry, I love tearing through the different environments and like the whole cruising the USA vibe versus the racing around the track and the realism of motorsport.
I still miss the original Need for Speed. That's still my favorite racing game.
Dude, see, that's where, like some of the Need for Speeds are actually backwards compatible, but other ones, like, that's why I'm saying, dude, it's actually worth it to go to, like, here they're locally, they're actually called, not the Fallout games as in the ones that are made by Bethesda. Here in Phoenix, Arizona, there's actually a retro game store called Fallout Games. Yeah. If you live in the area and you don't know about these guys, go check them out, especially the one in Paradise Valley. Dude, I'm going to say it right now. That is my go-to place for retro gaming. I have walked in and seen them rebuilding a PlayStation Vita just because they want to keep these consoles going. And also to really knock it out of the park. For anybody who knows anything about disc repair, these guys have an on-site Xena resurfacer at both of their locations. They resurface discs. I have gone and found discs that go for $60, $75 on the internet for $20 at like a GameStop or a Bookman's, and take them in there, and for like $3 they'll resurface them and the thing will look brand new and play great. And like, I mean, like Fallout Games really does its shit to keep retro gaming going. And they have everything all the way down from Nintendo to Super Nintendo, all the way to today's consoles. And they have even some pretty rare stuff. Like they have like a Nintendo 64 they're going for like $200. That's the Japanese version of the Nintendo 64 that is like clear purple. It's had the graphics card upgrade, the expansion pack put in it. It also had the modification done on the back end, I believe, for the HDMI. So these guys really also deal in modded consoles a little bit. Definitely, if you like Mickey, if you ever want to get into get an Xbox 360 again, dude, we'll go there together, because I went and got one. And like the cool part is with Fallout Games is they give you like I think it's like a 1-year warranty on the damn console.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I want to get some of the
dude, like
some of the older consoles and stuff. So
dude, like I've got the Xbox 3. I just got like Lord of the Rings, War of the North, and like some of the best Lord of the Rings games are stuck on the Xbox 360. We've got a number of Transformers games stuck on the Xbox 360. There is still a lot of stuff stuck on that console.
Heck yeah.
But going into what we were talking about on this whole situation with the Xbox stage event, it wasn't here trying to get everybody's hype up and play woulda, coulda, shoulda, and Xbox needs to do this or that. The only thing everybody needs to do is to make their own expectations and to not listen to the gaming media or, again, the content creators that are looking for clickbait. I'm not going to mislead you. I'm not going to tell you that the stage event that Xbox is going to put off is going to be the coming of the Messiah and the best thing since sliced bread. It is going to be, for me, an Xbox stage event that is going to help me set my expectations for the rest of like the next 12 months. But I also look at logical expectations. I'm not one of those people that when Xbox came out and was like, oh, we're going to release a game every 3 months and it's going to be great. And, you know, cats and dogs are going to be living together and all this other kumbaya stuff. No, I'm saying right now, I make mistakes and I'm allowed to say, oops, I had a mistake. I'm not going to be able to get that out on time, just like these game developers and publishers are. Because at the end of the day, I don't want anybody to have to sacrifice time with their family or go through mental hardships to provide to me a video game. To me, I am very grateful for all the time and effort that developers put into these games.
Absolutely.
And I do really wish that publishers would allow them to release games in a better state. Like, let's look at Suicide Squad. There's still some bugs going on. By the way, Mickey, my season pass fixed. So,
sweet.
Apparently, well, they're by the way, everybody, they're shutting down Suicide Squad tonight at 2 a.m. my time. They said 3 a.m. Pacific, to do some maintenance. Thank you, Blue, for sending me that in my Twitter to show me, because my season pass messed up and I was no longer able to like go through it and claim items. Apparently it's something that is connected to the skin color customizations. So if you unlock a new like color swatch for your skin or your outfit, it will lock the battle pass up right there. And you won't be able to do anything with the battle pass until you get enough XP to move on to the next the next thing you can get out of the battle pass. So yeah, last night I grinded out for about 30-45 minutes till I got to the next slot in the battle pass, and it finally unfroze the battle pass. So it's something connected to the coloring of the skins from the battle pass.
It's interesting.
I know, which is probably why some people probably never noticed it, because they probably were just grinding through it and never realized that their battle pass may be locked up.
Yeah, because from what I've seen, I haven't had any issues with it yet, so knock on wood.
But what do you think, Mickey, like, especially with you and your whole stance, like, how would you like really measure your expectations or what you're going to set for what's going to come of this show in June?
Well, honestly, I don't really carry any expectations. I just hope for something good that's going to catch my eye that I'll be excited for. But I'm not like, gosh, I hope they have, a whole ton of games that I'm just going to be so pumped. I'm going to see what they have, and if it catches my eye, then I'll start, you'll probably end up giving me, videos and stuff on it, but, I might check out some of the preview videos and stuff like that, but I don't put expectations on it because I don't know. I just don't. I just wait for it to come out, see what they got, and kind of go from there. And if they all pique my interest, then we'll figure it out. But
I don't know. Maybe we'll have you come over because it's supposed to take place on a Sunday afternoon. It'll probably be like Sunday at 12 p.m. our time.
Let's pick up some pizza and freaking watch the show.
Right. But all right. Speaking of watching the show, thank you everybody who tuned in to this episode of Crazy and Casual. We're still trying to figure out which one of us is the crazy guy. But really, everybody, I appreciate every single one of you for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you, each and every one of you.
Right. Like Blue, Boba Fett Gaming, we chat with them all the time on Xbox. Our parties are never like some restricted sacred garden. The only time we would probably ever lock you out of a party is if you come in there running your mouth. But that's after everybody ran their mouth to you. We would kick you out and then lock it. But yeah, definitely. Thank you again for everybody tuning in. We'll be back again next week. We'll be chatting more about what's going on. Hopefully, definitely we'll be discussing some more games coming out that are going to definitely get us hyped. Like we all got Hellblade 2 getting ready to come out. The funny part is here with Hellblade 2 is me and Mickey both have yet to play Hellblade 1. So that's where me and him are probably going to play that one together on our own respective times and then talk about the game because we're actually big proponents for mental health and obviously people taking mental health seriously and that whole shtick of like in my world, I believe people should have better access to mental health and in all general senses.
Definitely. And if you have to talk to somebody, talk to somebody.
Exactly.
If you want to come hang with us and talk, come on down. That's
what I'm just saying. Yeah. Our parties are always open. Just to warn you though, Mickey is always yelling at his dogs.
No, I'm not.
No, well, actually, so Mickey lives in a crazy neighborhood. People are constantly lighting off fireworks, and they set the dogs off.
Yeah, I feel bad for my dogs. I want to go punch some people.
Oh my God, that's why just last night they were launching fireworks off, and they're like, "What could they be celebrating on April 9th?" And I was all, "They're celebrating a quinceañera." Oh my God. But anyways, so till we see you guys next week, everybody, thank you again for tuning in. And just at the end of the day, enjoy gaming for what it is. Play what you want, no matter what anybody says. Yeah. And don't ever let anybody make you feel like it's a popularity contest. Just because someone else doesn't find the game fun doesn't mean you won't find it fun. So till then, we'll see you guys next week.
Have a great week and be safe, guys.
Later, everybody.